Hi there and welcome to another episode of Just a Few Things. I'm your host David, and this is a show where we talk about just a few of the really good things going on in New Frontiers Church. Alright, it's time for some good in the world, and this week we're going to hear about an old friend of ours named Kavan the Elephant. That's right, you remember Kavan, guys? If you're new to this show, Kavan is an elephant that we have put a lot of our emotional and energy into over the last couple weeks. Long story short, he was rescued from very poor zoo conditions in Pakistan by the group Four Paws International, which their kind of founder was the singer Cher, which is an amazing nugget. And then he was brought to a elephant refuge in what's it called? In Cambodia, guys. In Cambodia. And so Kavan is doing great. I just want to let all of you know, I'm happy to say that Kavan is doing great. They're currently working on building him a new enclosure, which will be 30 square acres, which is a lot of space. But he needs that space so he can move around. There's trees and forests and there's all sorts of stuff. It's going to be ready in about 3 to 4 months. They're working on like a massive swimming pool for him that he can completely submerge in and swim around and play in the water and do his elephant thing. His diet is great. He really, when he first showed up to this place, he didn't like banana trees, and now he does. He's all in on the banana tree. So I don't know. I think that's pretty fun. He's interacting well with the other elephants that are there. They haven't fully integrated them yet, just because they're kind of testing it out. But in between kind of their current enclosures, they can interact in that way, and most of the interactions have been positive. So hopefully, in a few months, we'll be able to hear about Kavan going out and playing with all of his new friends. So if you want to learn more about this, you can check it out actually at fourpawsinternational.com. There's a website about Kavan the elephant. If you just go into the Google machine and type in Kavan the elephant, you'll see a video that they have which describes and shows all of these things I've just been talking about. I would have played it, but it's a little long, and I know that we've got some other stuff to get to. So that's how Kavan is doing. So here's to you, Kavan, buddy, old pal, old friend. Glad to see you're doing well. All right, onward. Okay, for our weekly report this week, I'm doing what I said I wouldn't do last week, and I am combining our weekly report with testimony time. So it's that whole big awkward, our weekly testimony time port. Whatever. It works, it's great, and I think it's exciting. It gives us a little bit more time for the interview that I have coming up as well, because I got the chance to talk with Christine Baker and my mom, Carla Rogers, about Alpha. My mom invited Christine to Alpha, and Christine had a great time there. And this is going to be a bit of her story about what it was like being there and what it was like for my mom to invite her friend. So I'm going to pass it over to myself and them, and we'll get to hear from them. So over to you, David. Thanks, David. We're excited to have this conversation. I'm here with my mom, Carla, and Christine. How are you both doing tonight?
Good.
I'm doing good.
Awesome. That's great to hear. So we're going to talk about Alpha here. And I said tonight, it's because we're doing this at night. A little peek behind the curtain, everybody. But it's the same episode, so we're fine. But tonight we're going to talk about Alpha. And we've got two different experiences going on here. And we're going to actually start with you, Christine. You're the one who went through Alpha. Can you tell us a little bit about what that experience was like for you?
The experience was awesome, actually. It was the team and all the people there were super inviting and very open to teaching and sharing with everybody. I thought that the videos that were shown were very applicable to today's life and very interesting.
That's awesome. No, that's really great to hear. And with you going through that, how would you recommend it to somebody?
I guess I would recommend it to somebody that is obviously looking for a spiritual presence in their life or wants to get to know God and Jesus a little bit more. I know I was struggling with some stuff at the time and had been born and raised a Catholic. So some of it I knew or had a feeling about it, but it was a different approach because it was a little bit more open. So it was very interesting.
That's awesome. That's a really good practical way to understand what somebody who would go through Alpha is going through. So thanks for telling a little bit about your experience. Now I'm going to move it over to Carla. And you're the one who invited Christine to Alpha. What was that experience of inviting somebody to Alpha like?
Well, I've known Christine for a long time. We scrapbook together, part of our scrapbooking group with Margaret Murray as well. So we've been friends for a long time. And she's somebody who is just always open to real conversation and wanting to do things and be social. And so when it was time for Alpha, I did something so brave. I was so brave. Sent her a text. No, wait, I sent a group text to her and two other girls from the scrapbooking group, and totally wimped out with the text. That was so wimpy, but she responded. And so it wasn't really that scary because I did it in a really wimpy way, but God used it. So there you go.
So a wimpy text message. So anybody who is wondering about Alpha, you can send a wimpy text message. With that, Mom, because you were kind of worried about it, what would you say to somebody who might be nervous about inviting somebody to Alpha? Like, how would you encourage them to be like, just do it? Like, how would you do that?
I think I would just say that Alpha is really non-threatening, and it's a place to have a conversation. And so if you approach it in such a way to say, you know what, there's totally no pressure. Like, you don't have to say yes. We're still going to be friends if you say no, kind of set the parameters that there's no weirdness, right? If they're not into it. But just explain, it's super welcoming. It's meant to be a conversation. It's meant to there's no like,
commitment.
Yeah. I mean, seriously. And that was the other thing too, right, Christine? Like, you don't have to go for 12 weeks. Like, go to the first one, check it out, see if it's
right. And play it week by week and see how you feel about it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Christine. Yeah, so that's what I would say. And, obviously if there's relationship there and the person genuinely knows that you care about them, and, just go for it.
Wow, that's really easy. Like, I think about sometimes we want to invite people to some things and we're like, where's the sign from the Lord? Or like, how do I do this? And are they, it's just this, both of what you've both said has really made it seem achievable and doable. Mm-hmm. And that's really helpful. So everybody watching, tune into Alpha and send those wimpy text messages. Do that because we want to see people changed, and Alpha is a great way to do it. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, David. But before I do, thank you so much, Carla and Christine, for coming on and sharing your stories. And yeah, now I'm going to pass it over to you, David. So we're going to go to you. Thanks, David. This never gets old. I talk to myself anyway, but now I have camera and stuff like that. It's great. What an awesome story about Alpha. It's real, it's good, and I encourage all of you to really get involved with what's going on with Alpha in our church around the Seacoast. We want to see people come to know Jesus, and Alpha is an absolutely fantastic way for them to explore that a little bit and also let God do some work as well. So awesome job. Can't wait to hear more about what comes from Alpha. All right, we have a COVID challenge for you this week. Julie Bugeaud answered the call and wanted to get involved. She's going to be displaying some watercolor paintings for us. We've got a video from her that describes kind of the why behind she did this and just the inspiration for doing this. On the phone, I spoke with her on the phone, and she told me that, before COVID, she would not have had the time to do this. So this really is a COVID challenge. This is a skill that she's gained during COVID because of just, the time being at home. And so she wants to display some of this work for us. I think it's really good. And Julie, thank you for I just want to say thank you, Julie, for being vulnerable and showing this art to us. Anytime as an artist you express your work to anybody, it is certainly vulnerable. But I gotta say, I'm a fan. I really enjoyed the pictures, and I hope you all will too. So let's go over to Julie, and we're gonna hear from her about why she's doing this.
My COVID challenge is to show you guys some of the watercolor artwork that I've been doing in my time at home this past year. I grew up with a mom who was a professional artist, and she taught me to see God's creation with a very appreciative eye. She would help me to see colors in a sky that I wouldn't notice, or how the light came through a wave just as it was breaking. She taught me about composition, as well as how to take care of my paintbrushes. But this endeavor took me decades to come to fruition. I just took up watercolor about a year ago, and I was really inspired by the scripture, "Brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, pure, lovely, admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." Also, the scripture, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it," because most of my subjects are little jewels of God's creation. I hope you enjoy.
Wonderful. Julie, thank you again so much for sharing this with us. Thank you for bringing us a COVID challenge. I love the COVID challenges. They're really fun. Now, Julie also has a video that we posted, good grief, months ago, where she displayed some of her other work. It's a video that she made herself. And we're going to include that link in the email that actually came out to you. So you may have read the email and been like, what's this? Well, you can go back and watch that. It's some more of Julie's work on a video that she made. So thank you so much, Julie. And if you or someone you know has a skill or something that you want to showcase on Ian's COVID challenge, please send it to us at hello@newfrontierschurch.com. These are slowly becoming my favorite part of this show because I love seeing how talented of a church body we have. So yeah, well done. I don't have anything to say. I don't know why I did that. Whenever you do this, you're like, ooh, I've got something to say. I have nothing to say. This is the end of the episode. The YouTube slider is slowly getting to the end of it. I don't really have much to plug. I just say tune into your e-news and check out all things that have to do with Alpha. Our Saturday sermons are on Saturday, and you get them by going to our YouTube channel. You can do that. I will say this is a new mug. Elena made this. This is a handcrafted mug. I haven't drank anything out of it. There's never anything in these, by the way. Just so that you know, I don't. No, if I have too much coffee, I end up seeing noises, and it's just not a good thing. So, anyways, I just wanted to show off this new mug because it's pretty sweet. My wife is talented. I married up, let me tell you that. Okay, this is the end of the episode, and on the count of 3, we're going to say the thing that we usually say together to mark the end of the episode. You know what it is. So here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy weekend. I'll see you guys next week.